How's it all? How are you doing? What am I doing? How's everyone doing today? Glad to have you on. You've been a great friend for a while, Alex. You've been doing your business for a while. Tell us more about it. Tell us what you've been doing. Tell us a little bit about who you are and what's going on.
Cool. So, my name's Alex. I think I've known you guys for 7.5, 8 years, something like that. Crazy. Ever since Houston was just barely starting from the bottom, getting to it. I was just fresh out of high school. Juan just always been grinding.
Yeah, man.
Crazy. But we are the Club Customs, and we do vehicle wraps and just print. So we're a print shop / install shop.
And you've been doing, like, I've seen it from, like, just doing, like, the little plotter, from, like, little stickers here and there, to, like, purchasing, like, a big plotter. This plotter is, like, how big is it?
It's about the size of a car.
Yeah, like a
the
truck.
old one was, like,
it was a little
something
guy.
like this, and then now we have, like, a $40,000 printer that does vehicle wraps and anything you can think of.
You could
really.
just print on it. It cuts it, and then
prints,
stickers,
cuts,
whatever.
The dream. I never thought I would have something like that. It was just something you saw, like, Walmart type businesses have, and then now it's just I have one that I can use whenever I want.
Yeah, dude. I'm impressed, bro. Like, it was, a tiny little one color vinyl plotter to like a full on, like, you could print on it. You could print, cut, and do everything on there, right? Like full production.
And that's something that only like crazy big shops have, because you can't just buy one.
Right. Yeah. It's massive.
Yeah. They're huge. You can't move it. You can't put it through a door. You have to use shop doors. It's huge.
Yeah, they're made to order to be made. Yeah.
Yep. How long have you been doing it for?
I think we're going on probably like over 2 years, right? From the beginning, where it started with like just small little like decals that said whatever you wanted, little car stuff, and then now we can do a full print on your entire car.
Right. Any type of color. Like, you could even go like, like the full size of like the side of semis or box trucks.
And that's how those are printed. Those are printed with the printer that I have in sections, and then you just match it up, and then
that is so cool.
Do a huge semi. You could do a whole building. Literally.
That's crazy, dude. And it's crazy, like, just thinking back, like, from when you started it, dude. I mean, you used to work for Houston, right? And who actually ended up starting his own business several years ago and everything like that, dude. And you were able to work for Houston and then build off of that, which is really fucking cool.
Yeah, definitely. And he's probably the only one that I know that just knows, like, the business struggle. Like, I don't think I know anybody else. Everybody else is like a Walmart compared to us,
Right.
And you don't really meet people that are like, hey, I'm doing this for myself. I want to put people on. It's never like that. It's always the Tesla mentality. Like, I'm going to work at Tesla, they're going to pay me, and I'm going to spend all my money.
Clock in, clock out.
Yeah, that's everybody's mentality.
And live for the weekend.
Exactly.
Yeah. And a big thing is, like, taking that leap. Like, it's like, hey, I have bills to pay. I have, like, all of these things to do. Like, I need to, like, just take it and, like, figure it out. Make it somehow.
Yeah, and I think that's the mentality of some people. I didn't necessarily have that.
Yeah.
I've never been like, oh, I'm going to start this business to pay my bills. I started it because I wanted to do something bigger.
Yeah.
And just the regular factory worker mentality, like, I just cannot get behind it.
Yeah.
And I know that serves well for a lot of people, most people, obviously in town too, because we're like, seems like everybody we know works at Amazon, Tesla.
Yep.
Those just factories,
Panasonic.
Which is cool, and they pay really good. And I kind of wish I had that mentality of like, let me go to work, I'll make good money, but instead I have the weird mentality of like, I'm just gonna like struggle and figure it out, and it's gonna work eventually. But sometimes it seems like that's just simpler. Like, I'm just gonna work at this distribution center. I'm gonna make a bunch of money, more money than I make. They probably do. It's like sometimes it's really slow, sometimes it's really fast.
Yeah, and it's crazy too, because like with a lot of those 9-to-5 jobs, it's like you clock in, you go to work, you clock out, and you kind of leave everything that was happening at work just off to the side, right? And then you go back to it on Monday. But I've definitely seen it from both of you guys. Like, it's around the clock. Like, you've definitely been doing car wraps, 2-3 in the morning, doing sticker deliveries at midnight. Like, it doesn't really matter. Like, your job follows you all the time. You know, it's not just a 9 to 5 thing.
No, literally, because you depend on it. You go to sleep, you wake up thinking about it because nobody's going to give you a paycheck anymore. You're not getting a paycheck unless you chase the paycheck. Really,
Right.
Like, your money's not going to come your way if you don't do anything.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
That's probably the reason that most people don't do anything like that, like any like business moves, let's say, like on their own, because and I understand that too, because I felt like that for a long time. It's like, and especially now, it's like I don't have a paycheck. Like if I don't get the paycheck, I'm not getting a paycheck. You know, which really sucks because then you're constantly thinking. But that's the only way that you'll like. It's a drive for sure. Like,
oh, for sure.
Knowing that if you don't make your money, nobody's gonna make it for you.
Yeah, and you know, I was telling Houston too that it's crazy how like that whole thing works. But like, I mean, dude, I could dive deep into, you know, how I think society is completely backwards and everything we've always been taught to do or know is always been the opposite of what we should really be doing, right?
Yeah.
But it always seems like that whole 9 to 5 thing is like a false security thing, right?
It is, and you just have to grind and keep going. A lot of people don't realize that you aren't going to be big or make it for a while, and you have to like a lot like.
And it's discouraging.
It is,
it's definitely discouraging.
Repetition and keeping going through.
But that's the only way that you're gonna succeed is you, like our motto, Eddie and I, my business partner. It's like we're going to have to keep trying things until something works, and eventually something will work, but we're going to struggle and we're going to have to make sacrifices, but that's the only way we're going to make it. And we've already come to terms with the fact that, like, you have to try different things. And, you know, sometimes for some people that one thing just works, but unfortunately for us and for most people, it doesn't just come easy.
Oh, no, never. And see, like, that's the other thing about it, too, that it seems like, you know, a lot of people will, like, I don't know if that's happening to you already, but people down the road will be like, oh, man, he had it good. It seems like, oh, you know, Club Customs just came up overnight. It's like, yeah, you guys really didn't see the long nights, the long days, you know, fucking talking about, like, dude, we haven't fucking, you know, had anybody come in the last few days. Like, what are we going to do, you know?
Yeah.
So knowing that you're going to have, like, ups and downs and definitely slow times is something that a lot of people don't want to come to reality with, you know? So that's why it's, like, really easy to say, oh, well, you know, if I just go to my 9 to 5, it's a 40-hour paycheck. And like, if I don't try, or if I, you know, you could have days where it's like, I really don't want to work today. You know, I don't really have to meet my quota, and you'll still get your paycheck. Versus you guys, it's like, you know, if you don't make ends meet, then you don't get that paycheck at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Really.
I think that a lot of people see businesses that way. They think it's like, you know, I'm going to start this business and then I'm going to make an Instagram page and people are just going to flock to me like, oh, like if I sell socks with people's dogs printed on them, there's no way I'm not going to like succeed. Like I'm just going to start it and then, but you know, that's not like even just to start an Instagram is like, it's not, you don't just start an Instagram, like a successful Instagram, you have to build it.
Right.
But I think people think like, you know, I'm just going to start this business and I'm just going to make money. That's not how it works.
No,
dude,
not at all.
And that's like one of like, so as you guys know, man, I've tried a ton of fucking different things, right?
Oh,
yeah.
So one of the things like early in my career, man, was like doing, I thought I was going to start this t-shirt business, man, where it wasn't printing t-shirts or anything like that. It was like my own brand, right? Cultured Class. And I was like, dude, this thing's going to fucking hit.
Yeah.
Well, I ended up fucking doing like Instagram page, followed a ton of people, everything like that. And I finally ended up buying some shirts. And then I was like, boom, we're launching.
Yeah.
I got like 1 or 2 people that ended up buying.
Yeah.
Right. And it was like, that was my false reality that I was like, dude, as long as I put out a product, people are going to fucking buy it. It doesn't work like that.
It doesn't work like that. But if that was your thing and you were passionate about it, you would have had the mentality of it's okay to fail and it's a possibility. So if you would just keep going and try new things,
right?
I mean, you don't just become a brand, you know. And everybody thinks like, and especially here in town, it seems like everybody's like, I'm gonna start my own brand. I'm gonna come up with these shirts, but it's just like a name. It's like whatever like brand you want, but there's more to it. Like you gotta put a lot of work into it for sure.
Yeah, that's definitely true, man. And I think that's where, you know, a lot of people see, and you know, there's a difference between permanent failure and short-term failures. You're always going to end up going through the short-term failures, but as long as your failure doesn't keep you down, then failure it's definitely part of the process, and it's definitely it'll help you get to your long-term goal, but a lot of people don't see it. And that's where, I say that it's crazy how society's so backwards, and we weren't ever taught that early on, where it's like, you will fail and that's okay.
Yeah, like business partner Jory, like he got his first kiosk in the mall, and he didn't realize that you had to pull people in. These people don't want to talk to you. Yeah. They like want to avoid you at all costs, and you have to like get their attention and sell them something. And it's hard. It's difficult. It's very difficult.
People just think that customers will flock to you and everybody wants this, but no, you have to go get it.
And then they don't realize.
I can't think of, even now, I can't really think of any business where people will flock to you. Even if you just invented the newest, greatest thing, like, just doesn't work like that, unfortunately. And I think a lot of people, when it comes to businesses, they think like, oh yeah, he started, it was easy. But I mean, even now, like sometimes we literally don't sleep. Yeah. Like we'll work 9 in the morning to like 6, and then by 6 it's like, well, let's just go eat breakfast and then get to it. It's Tuesday now, like you just keep going, and people don't really know that that's how it works, but that's how it works, man.
Yeah.
Even
absolutely.
sliced bread struggled.
Yeah, dude. Hey, I've never heard of that before. Like, why do I want my bread sliced? Like,
and a lot of people don't know and realize that like most businesses fail within the first 5 years.
Right.
Like, was it 90, 80?
I don't know.
It's a high percentage.
It's a
of
very high
businesses
percentage. Yeah.
Yep. But I think that's where like you separate the people who are willing and wanting to at all costs to try to fucking make it out of it, and I think that's why, like, with the pandemic, it's definitely highlighted a lot of those things, so if someone isn't willing to be creative or doesn't know how to be creative, it's definitely gonna, if you're on a downward path already, you just got there quicker.
Because rent's coming. And
but even if you're creative, that's maybe like 10% of it, I feel like, because there's a lot more to it. Even just to have the follow through or the mindset of, I'm going to do this until it works. Or you could just have the mindset of, I'm going to try this. It's like, no, I'm not going to try this. Like, I'm going to make it happen.
That's true.
I think it's just that follow through. But how you said, to build on what you said about society being backwards, I was thinking about that this morning, because I was thinking how at school, nobody ever told us about having a business. I never thought I had taxes. Yeah, that's a whole nother thing on its own. But even just being a business owner, that was never mentioned.
No,
that was not a thing. That was not something and nobody told me, or I never heard anybody say like, when I grow up, I'm going to have this business. It was always, I'm going to work here. I'm going to do this.
Be a doctor, a lawyer, whatever it is.
So I think it's backwards in the sense that you were saying, because we're almost taught to not do it.
Yep.
We're trained to be on that 9 to 5 and they're acquire these skills so you can use these skills to benefit somebody else.
Exactly.
And it's not, having a business isn't necessarily about benefiting yourself. It could be about benefiting the community. Yeah. Because that's almost how we see it. It's not like we want to have this business so we could get rich. It's not that. It's more, we want to have this business. And for us, it's almost like we want to do it to see our success and not within ourselves, but within like
something else,
like the car community or something like that. I think that's one thing that keeps people going. It's just so rewarding.
You have to have that passion
to knowing that you did this with this person, for this person, and they're happy. I mean, you don't really get that with certain things, like it's like, oh, we have this coffee shop, we sell coffee,
right?
And we just want to make the most we can off these cups, blah blah. Got to cut the costs. But with us, it's almost like, I mean, of course the money is cool and that's the end goal, but I think the motivation for it is that rewarding feeling you get of, I did this. Not I did this.
And
I did this for my boss who did. Now he's
building a community around it.
It's rewarding to see your work pay off.
And one of the things too that one of the books that I think everyone should definitely read is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. and everyone like talks about that book like being like the 101 to entrepreneurship, right?
Yeah.
But what he talks about is when you want to do something, you know, it should never be about the money. And it goes back to like what you're saying, right? Because you want to be able to offer, you know, it's always about what you're going to offer, and then in return, this is what you'll get. But you can't ever just say, well, you know, I'm just trying to get the money and run away with it, you know, and you can, but that's how things don't last, you know. So it's more about, this is what I'm trying to do, and in return, I'll be able to get this. And it's more about, you know, making a living off of it. And, you know, your services are about, you know, I need to survive too, but it's not like you're trying to get over on everybody, you know?
Yeah,
so
because you're not going to get far.
No.
You know, if you get over on everybody eventually, it's just not going to work, because word of mouth is kind of what keeps, I would say, most, if not all, like small businesses going. So just getting over on everybody, eventually you will run out of people that are fresh and new that haven't heard that you just screw people over.
Yeah.
Instead of like, it's almost like a project with the customer, not a project you're doing to get money from the customer.
Yeah, and how long until you have like a Yelp account, a Google account, and then it's all 1 stars? Who's going to even touch you? No one's going to come around.
Yeah, that's true. And you know, like going back to the thing about school too. I mean, you think about it, and it's like, you know, you have your set schedule, the alarm goes, and then you go to recess, and then you go to yeah.
It's like they're training. They're almost training the factory worker mentality into us, like super young. That schedule is like, you're gonna have lunch at this time, you're gonna do this. But I have heard, I think yesterday on another podcast I was listening to about like just businesses and stuff. He was talking about his kids go to a school where it's super like just new, that what they're doing is they have the different departments, stuff like that, and then the kids actually choose what they want to learn. So if there's a kid that's just interested in the maths, then there you go, he's going to learn math. And because if somebody likes reading, then there you go, you're going to like reading. But it's almost like letting them choose what they want to do so they can build on that, instead of I like math, but all we do all day is science. You know,
that's what
because then there's a lot of people that like science and they don't like math.
Yeah, because there's a lot of things like, I mean, and you know, there may be some method to the madness. I just don't know enough about it. Where as far as like, there's a lot of things in school that they teach you that to me just seems like a complete waste of time, right? Like you think about, you know, the history, Greek mythology. There's a ton of things where it's like, me personally, I don't see the benefit of it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of those things that you learn that you think aren't beneficial, maybe they just contribute to like helping people grow up with like more of an open mind or something like that.
Okay, that makes sense.
I mean, maybe something like that. That's like the only explanation I can think of. Or we just got stuck in a circle, and then that's just how it goes now, and we just like, we haven't changed it because that's the norm. But maybe it's something that needs to be reviewed, and we just haven't.
You know, it's definitely something that needs to be reviewed, you know, because everyone says that the school system is broken, but no one ever talks about, well, this is what we need to do to fix it. You know, it's like everyone knows it. We know schools are underfunded. Teachers are being underfunded, and it's ridiculous. You know, it's a complete system, a broken system that everyone knows, but no one wants to contribute to be able to fix.
In Sweden, they have it exactly what you talk about. Like they have, you pick the subject and you want to go on, and that's how it is over there. And you have one, like, you don't have like different teachers. You have one for like 5 years, and then they also don't have tests over there as well, from what I know.
Right. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of countries around the world that have definitely been a lot better. And then, you know, I mean, the whole socialism thing, I mean, who knows? That's just a whole nother rabbit hole, bro, that'll end up going down. It's all bad, right? But yeah, and I totally agree, man. The school system is broken, and it's something that we need to improve on as a whole.
Yeah, and I think at the end it was just like, why are we not? And I mean, you could teach social studies, whatever you want, but why does it seem like we're like, our schooling and stuff is almost against go try, build your own business, be your own boss,
and fail,
do your own thing. It's okay to fail, but it's like, I can't remember a single time that it was mentioned like, have you thought about opening your own business when you grow up?
Right.
I mean, that's just not a thing, and we do need that, and we definitely need like the factory worker type people too. But even if you gave everybody the opportunity to open a business, I think only a certain percentage are going to do it anyways, and the rest are like, yo, and it's okay to work for somebody, and it's okay to just have a normal job. Like that's okay, and it's fine. Like, but not everybody has that mentality, and it's almost like when that door got opened, I just couldn't think of anything else, and I couldn't see myself just ever again like doing something normal.
Yeah, and it's like
as well.
Yeah, like here's a business idea for somebody, a podcast idea, right? That I'm not gonna ever do. Yeah. But it's like I think it's crazy. Like right now with like social media, just there's a bunch of podcasts all talking about entrepreneurship, right? But you don't ever see anybody talking about like, hey, this is how you get a good job. This is how you work for corporate America. This is how you collect the 401k and retire in 50 years. It would be really cool. Like someone should do that if someone hasn't already. Like, because there's a lot of people who don't want to start their own business, which is completely fine. Yeah. But how do you collect your retirement in 50 years? That would be something that would be fucking cool for somebody. Yeah. Right?
Oh, yeah. Just life skills.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Because even, going back to like the school thing, it's like, I wasn't ever taught about credit or how to get a loan or how to open up a bank account, things like that. Yeah, it's like it's things that are always missed.
There's a lot of stuff like that that's just day to day, and it's almost like I should know this, or like, oh, you don't know this, but it's like, where was I supposed to learn this? Yeah. Like, when are you taught about even just taxes in general, as far as like how they really work and how important it is? Because that's got to be one of the most important things. Oh yeah. That follows us forever. Right. And when did we learn that? How many people are committing tax fraud not knowing because we were never taught?
Yeah, that's true.
But that's definitely one of those things that could be like beneficial in that podcast you were talking about.
I know, right? Yeah. That'd be freaking cool for someone that really knew it. I mean, I don't know enough about 401k and your retirement in 50 years, or
find someone that does.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And even then, like, maybe the only way to learn those things is being at that job that offers those things, that they have like a department that teaches you, like, or it's not even teaches you, it's like, hey, fill this form out because this will happen. And I think maybe that's how it's gone now, like for a very long time, is like people know about these things because somebody else has them do it, like at their job or something like that. But if you don't work a regular job, how are you supposed to learn those things?
Yeah, right. I've always learned from trial and error. Yeah, until I get caught,
or you do your own research,
until
which,
I get in trouble, and then I have to pay the fine, and I pay it, and then
But if we would have learned those things instead of like the revolution of this or that, like.
At what point do you think that you, or at what point did you think that you would start your own business? Did you think that, getting out of high school, this is not exactly a printing shop, but, did you know that, out of high school you wanted to make your own business?
No. I always thought that I was going to go to college, I was going to graduate, and then I was going to get a job in exactly what I studied, which was criminal justice and psychology. Like, oh yeah, I'm going to go and I'm going to be a cop, and then I'm going to level up to this, and I'm going to level up to that. Almost until like my last year in college.
Whoa.
And then I was like, this isn't going to work. Like, I don't think I want to do that anymore. And then once I graduated, it was like, okay, what am I going to do? And it was more of like, I don't know where I got the mindset change, but it was like almost, I think going to school just opens up your mind to just critical thinking in general. Like, you can now, like, I don't even know how you get taught critical thinking because most people don't have it from what I see.
Or common sense.
Yeah, and critical thinking is almost like a more hardcore version of like common sense.
It is. And that's one of the things, it's interesting, dude. I've never heard anyone actually talk about like critical thinking, dude, and being able to make some of those decisions, So it's interesting that you bring that up, but go on.
Yeah, well, critical thinking is, I don't even remember where I heard the term or something like that, but I mean, it almost seems like, and going to college, I did hear one time that I think a professor said, like, going to college makes you a better person. And I never really understood that until like a lot later, that it's not that it made you a better person. It's that you're brain almost continued developing and absorbing.
Yeah.
And eventually just learned how to think more complex, or like you're almost thinking things through, but at a lot larger rate than
I
other
also
people.
think it's like worth ethic. You know, going to school, doing your homework, all that stuff, like it kind of teaches you that, and you kind of follow it afterwards. Or I kind of think that has to do.
But the whole thing we were talking about when I decided that I was gonna do something like that, I think it was after college, and then I was like, you know, this isn't what I want to do, and I don't know where it started, but it was like I don't want to be stuck in that chain of like working for somebody else, making somebody else rich, but also like I wanted the reward of I did this, you know, instead of I did this for like somebody else or something like that, just to make something bigger. I think put people on is a big thing for me. Is like I want something that I can benefit a lot of other people with, instead of doing something that just benefits yourself.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that makes you know, that does make a lot of sense, you know, and that's like, you know, one of the things too, that when you start, you know, and you continue to build on your business, you kind of start building like an ecosystem around it, right? So, you know, your one business could then branch off, and then you're able to help, you know, close friends or anything like that to also jump underneath that ecosystem too. You know, which is, it's interesting, man, because when I had first, you know, you had first started doing like one thing, and you started going into another, and like you completely made this whole thing into what is now Club Customs, you know, and it was like, it's crazy. Like you start from Houston shop, you know, just making little decals here and there.
Yeah, it's so weird.
And it's just like, it's crazy. When he had told me, he was like, yeah, Alex put in his 2 weeks, like he's starting his own thing. And I was like, what? Like, dude, that's crazy, dude. Like, it's cool though, dude. You know, you see that graduation, dude, and it's like you go on to that next step. You know, it's cool, man. How do you feel about it now that you've been doing it for some time? Like, are you nervous? Were you nervous, like with that initial, like,
for sure.
What made you want to take that leap of faith?
I had thought about it for so long, and I wanted to tell him for a long time.
I knew it was
but
coming.
Yeah, I'm sure you knew it was coming, but I felt like I was abandoning ship almost, because I felt like I did like so much there for him, and I was like, it's almost like I'm just leaving him, but if I don't take the leap, I will never progress. And I knew it was like gonna be a struggle, but that was kind of like the leap you had to take. But I knew if I didn't leave my comfort zone, I was never going to progress and just improve and make the moves that I needed to, because I knew it was a struggle. Something along those lines.
Yeah, I have no doubt. Like, it's just going to go up from here.
Hopefully.
Always.
And I know that things can fail and things can go wrong. And even now it's slow. Yeah. But we just keep building. Like, you know, if this doesn't work, we're going to start this. If this doesn't work, we're going to do this, but something will eventually work. Yeah. Or just a lot of little things will work, you know, but it's almost, you just can't, like, failure is not an option. And it's okay, like, as far as failing, like, at this or that, but completely where you just give up. No. Like, you just can't.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And do you ever see your college diploma as, like, a good cushion? If you're just, like, you know, if all else fails, then I'll go back to doing whatever, you know, you had graduated for.
And that's what I thought at first. Like, as soon as I graduated, it was like, hey, you know, I'm going to start something. And if it doesn't work, worst case, like, I can just fall back and I can use my bachelor's and do something with that. And that's what I was thinking at first. But that was like a bad mindset to get into. Like, oh, if I fail, then I'll do this. But now it's the mindset almost converted itself to,
I'm not failing.
I'm not going to fail because I'm going to keep trying different things and something will work or a combination of these things, but there is no, like, going back. Like, I'm deep in it. I'm all in.
I was explaining to, like, a local business owner, and she has a restaurant, and she couldn't believe, like, because she was like, I'm going to have to close down if this all hits again, COVID, and I was like, well, you could do curbside pickup. And she was like mind blown by it. I was like, yeah, everyone's doing it. You just, like, they could order on the phone, they could order through an app, like, and then Grubhub, she had no idea about any of this stuff. So it's like,
she got into the mindset of, like, oh, what if I fail? Or what if
people
it's like,
have to come in and eat here.
You should have the idea of, like, what am I going to do if I fail? It's like, no, it's like you should have the idea of what am I going to do so I don't fail instead of this is what I'm going to do if I fail.
Yeah.
You know?
Completely.
And, you know, it's interesting, too, because, like, you were talking about how, you know, they don't teach you any of this in school, right? So, like, you think about it and, like, even the people, so, like, if we break, like, society into two, right? And you got, like, the worker bees, and then you got people who are wanting to start their own business, entrepreneurs that have already done it. And, like, you think about what's happening right now with the pandemic, it's like they talk about most businesses will fail, right? Because most businesses only have enough money for the next month or the next few weeks, or they're going, yeah. But you think about it, and like it all goes back to our schooling, whether you are working a 9 to 5 or you're starting your own business, you know, the 9 to 5ers, most people only have a few $100s. They're living check to check, most of the time struggling. And now you get those same people now as a business owner, month to month struggling and only having a few $100s or just enough to keep them afloat, right? And now it's like the pandemic's really exposed that. And it's interesting because it seems like if we were taught some of these like core essential things in high school, it would be different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the pandemic definitely like exposed almost the vulnerable side to everything because it exposed the vulnerable side to everything from people's health to people are not prepared for that, for change or something like that. Yeah. But from it exposing, then there was the people, like, sure, there's the people that said, oh, no, I'm going to fail. And then there's a whole new breed of people that said, oh, a pandemic, let me sell hand sanitizer.
Yeah.
Right.
Like there's a lot of people that are stuck in the mindset, too, of like, oh, what if I fail? I'm going to fail. And then there's the people that are like, how am I going to profit from these people failing? And it's almost like you want to be on that side, but you almost don't want to just because it's so like selfish, greedy, and like taking advantage of the situation. But there's also, it's just like they're constantly going like, what can I do next?
Right.
And like that's almost the mindset you want to be in to a point.
Yeah, and like I know when the lockdowns were just about to happen, I definitely messaged both of you guys and it was like, dude, what can we fucking sell? We went from water, hand sanitizer, masks, and it was like, you know, just trying to see like, okay, you know,
toilet paper.
Yeah, even toilet paper, right? But it's like, you know, one of the things that like Elon Musk talks about is how entrepreneurs are the ones that are the problem solvers, you know? And it's like even in turmoil, even like looking at like the 2008 house boom when everything, the economy crashed, it was like that's where they're talking about the most millionaires ended up becoming millionaires, you know?
That's crazy.
That thing, so cool. Made the most millionaires. So it's like even in like an economic turmoil, it's like you gotta make things work, and you gotta, like, entrepreneurs are the ones that take things to the next level. So that's why even looking at like how the government, you know, they talk about how the government should be smaller, and then they should end up opening the things for like the private sector. So they talk about how the government should be smaller, and then things should go out to the private sector, which is, you know, small businesses, entrepreneurs.
Creates the competition.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You know, instead of government owning everything or, you know, being like monopolizing things.
Oh, yeah. And to go along with that, I think a lot of things that I hear when people talk about that, about like using the private sector, is almost like the biggest benefit almost is instead of like right now we have this one company, they handle everything. If we had multiple companies trying to come in and take over that, they would say, well, we're better because of this. And then now the next company is like, we're actually better because of this. Yep. So that competition almost creates improvement of those things. Like even like let's say like NB Energy, like they just have like the energy grid. Like,
that's it. They're monopolizing.
It's they can charge whatever they want.
Exactly. Totally. If we had other companies coming in and saying, hey, we could provide power to your whole state for this much, and our power is this more efficient, so you're going to use less, they would win. And then the next one would say, we're better because of this, we're cleaner, and it would just improve. But since it's monopolized, like there's no need to improve because like, there is no competition.
Yeah, it's like cellular carriers. It's like they all have different prices, and you pick and choose what you want. Yeah. And some are better, some aren't.
They are getting better because before, remember, you had like 1 gig of data, and now it's unlimited data is like the norm, and then next is like, oh well, we have 5G.
Yeah, and that's where competition.
Or it's like we have this exclusive thing, but if it was just the one company like Bell, it would have just there's no need to improve or invest in somebody to improve it because there's no competition. So competition makes them thrive almost.
Right. Like, why would you improve on a product that's selling and it's good?
Yeah,
and it's just that, even though it could be completely like mediocre.
To compete. You don't have to. You don't have to become better.
Just sell it.
Yeah, and that's why I think like it's really cool where like even the whole Elon Musk and Tesla thing, it's like, him wanting to drive innovation even through other companies. Like it doesn't matter who's doing it. It's just like the better good for humanity, and I think that's what's really cool. And it goes back to that thing where, it's driving competition. Him really pushing that limit is cool.
And he has open patents for all of his cars and technology. Anyone could just copy it. Anyone could use it. So like their superchargers if they wanted to, but no other company does.
You remember when the pandemic started and how you were talking about earlier, like what can we sell and this? Yeah. Remember when we were talking about like what stock should we buy? What's gonna go down? Like stuff like that. And on every stock that I can even think of, like everything dropped so much. And if all the people that just hopped on everything and just cashed out and bought all those stocks that were down and they're way up again, like that's huge. They would have benefited a lot, and we should have hopped on it.
Dude, hey, what do you mean? Well, if we would have gone in more, absolutely,
we went in on a lot. The
Robin
only
Hood.
one we took an L on was the one Houston gave us, the genius one.
It was genius.
The only one Houston insisted was going to be good.
So I made a good amount of money, and then I cashed out, and then I put more money, and then like I ended up losing some. But like when I made some money, it was a good amount, so I was pretty happy. I was like pretty like you guys, like
because
it might keep on going.
It was at like $7, and then you guys were like, "Oh, we have to buy this. It's going to be huge." They're
and how much it go
provide
up to?
what
it went
streaming
up to like
services?
35, I think.
Nah,
it went up
something
high.
like that. And now it's at $1.
Yeah.
And I bought a ton of shares, and I'm stuck at $1. Hey, but I'm gonna hold, and we'll see.
Well, dude, some of the other ones, dude, that we ended up buying into, dude, I'm still in them, dude, and they have been doing me great.
Like the big one, El Dorado.
Yeah,
because when those casinos closed, it went down, and we got a bunch of shares, and I sold high, but. If I would have held, like I would have gone higher.
You're still holding.
I'm still holding, dude.
Because you got on what 17?
Yeah, it was a low.
And they're talking about closing the casinos again, so your stock's gonna go down.
It's cool.
I'm gonna
I'll sell, bro.
Yeah, you'll sell. You'll reinvest.
I'll reinvest all the money I've already made off of.
There you go.
You're not gonna make anything if they close and go down again.
I gotta sell right before that point.
Buy. They'll go up eventually.
Oh, absolutely, man. People got that trigger finger, man. They're itching to fucking gamble.
Yeah,
dude, it's funny, man, because like
I feel about gambling when it comes to you almost, because you like to gamble, you like to put in $20, but then since you couldn't and there was no like casinos, I was like, dude. Robin Hood, get on this.
Stocks.
Like, might as well. And you're all like, and it's the same kind of thing. It's the same kind of feeling.
It is, right? Yeah. Like, it's funny, man, because we all have a friend, man. We all know him. I'm not gonna, but it's funny that he ended up downloading like one of the slot machine apps on his phone, and he was like playing. I'm like, dude, is that real money? He's like, nah. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? It's not even like you're not even playing like blackjack or anything where you're kind of like stimulating the mind, like. No, you're just hitting, freaking spin. It's like, what are you doing that for, dude?
I don't know.
But
another friend as well, same thing. Gambling, couldn't go. Referred him Robin Hood. Now he's like, he's 10
you know what I've seen
deep,
a lot of commercials of now?
Yeah.
I get a lot of commercials for like the MGM sports betting and those sports betting.
William Hill,
Morgan Hill, something like that.
Yeah, Morgan Freeman.
Him too. And now that's like becoming more. We should have invested in those apps when the pandemic started, because we were thinking like, what is gonna get big?
Yeah,
and
dude,
it was like streaming
they
services.
Can't go to them right now.
Zoom was huge. I think they went from like, I don't know what they went from, maybe like $20 to like, I don't know what they're at now, but they were so high. Like 400 or something like that. Whoa. A lot of people got rich off Zoom because as soon as the pandemic hit, what do we use now? Zoom.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's interesting, man. Yeah, exactly. Like you had no choice other than use fucking Zoom,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But it's interesting, man. Like I definitely have, and I'm sure you guys did too. Like I definitely had friends and like coworkers and stuff who were like, "Damn, like we got to hunker down, things like that, like save your money and stuff like that." But it's like we messaged each other.
Scared. You can't be scared to spend money and invest it because you'll win some, you'll lose some. It'll always be like that, but. The one that you're not scared and you keep doing it, it's just like keep trying. You're going to hit that one.
Yeah, that's how gamblers think, and that's why that mentality is flawed. And you're going to hit that one, but then eventually you don't have it.
Yeah, you lose a lot, and then you eventually hit.
You're going to have to kick Houston out of this podcast.
I think, when it comes to like investing, it's kind of the same thing. If like you have like 10 businesses, you're like, I'm going to put some time in all these, and one of them's going. It's the same thing.
Yeah, that
it's different.
Too,
it's a different.
People think that being a jack of all trades is good, and I don't think it is.
I don't think it
is.
Even just business wise, like people think they can do everything, and you're gonna bring everything to your business.
Yeah.
But why are you gonna jump to other things when you haven't even perfected the first one?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I really think that it's better to just go down on the one. Or, like the one that just branched out a little bit, but perfect it and then build on that instead of constantly like starting new things and then never mastering any of them. It's like, why are you gonna?
But you don't have to master them. I mean, you could.
Well, I think it all depends.
If you're not
like
passionate about what you're doing, you're gonna fail.
I think it depends on the person. It really does.
Yeah, but I see what you're saying with your point, because like. What a lot of people end up thinking is that they could scale to the masses without mastering. And it all depends. Like if you're trying to make, if you're really trying to blow up and you're trying to open, like, for example, if you're trying to open up, multiple locations in multiple states or even within your city, like if your first location if you don't have it completely mastered, then you can't and you shouldn't open up, continuous businesses, and they all open up in different ways and forms, right? And it goes, like even if you're trying to open up a different business, if you're not, that time ends up taking away from your first business. And if you open up a third one, now you've opened up your time to 3 different things that are, they're doing okay, where it's like you should really like hunker down and like, master that first business, get it completely running, and then you go on to your next one.
Yeah, but if you're passionate about that one thing you're doing, you're not gonna be branching out to all these different things. You're gonna put your effort into that one. You're gonna master it. You're gonna be the best. You're gonna do it better than others, and you're gonna improve processes and stuff like that. Whereas if you now open up something else, like you have your phone repair, if you now go open up a salon. And next door you open up a coffee bar, and like they're doing okay. Yeah. But where you haven't put your effort into it, so you haven't improved it, it's the same thing over and over again, and it's just never gonna build up.
Yeah, and that's where like we were kind of talking the other day too, where it's like a lot of places don't think about like scaling for one, and then it would be how do you? Yeah, I'm trying to find the word for it, but like. How do you replicate it? Yeah. But how do you make your business almost like
easy to replicate into another location?
Oh, it's because you have your process.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I heard that this morning on I don't even know what it was, some sort of like motivational speech thing. Yeah. And it was talking about how you have to have process to everything to succeed almost. You need a process that can be repeated. And two, because you don't want to always be doing the work like at your business. Yeah. You don't always want to be doing the work, but if you have a process, you can implant people to do that work for you. Yep. But you have to have like a clean cut process that is proven. It's like scientific
like McDonald's
method.
Yeah. SOPs, standardized operating procedures.
If you have that procedure that just works and you can teach it to different people, then there you go. Now you've mastered it, I guess, because you've set up the process. Exactly. And now you can open up your other 3 locations and stuff like that.
Yeah, and what really like ended up driving that conversation was like there's this place in Sacramento, this restaurant that we like. Oh yeah. And like their downtown location is completely different than their other location. It's almost
completely different. It's like a different.
There's a lot of places like that here in town. Is like, oh, we go to sushi at this one, but we don't go to this one because I don't like it here.
It's not as nice.
Even with like the coffee, it's like I'll get the same coffee at the like 3 different locations from the same company, and it's like, okay, it's location different. 1 is okay, location 2 is good, location 3 is the best, and they're consistent.
I wonder if people like that. I wonder if that's a good thing because
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Because maybe the people like the coffee at Wells, but they don't like the coffee on Rock.
I don't think so. Just because
like
because
the Starbucks thing. Yeah, like you go to any Starbucks and it's fucking identical.
Any McDonald's, any McDouble, it's exactly how it was from 10 years ago to now.
Yeah, so now you know what you're gonna get. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so you know
they're inconsistent.
Super inconsistent, dude.
Yeah,
and it's like
but I think even then it's like, not to cut you off, but there's people are involved in it, so things will always be a little different unless it's some like mechanical
anytime that you involve the human, there's going to be error.
That variable.
Human is definitely always the variable in many cases, right? And it's like it's interesting too, because like when you, at least like from what I do like at my 9 to 5, like we talk a lot about like lean manufacturing and being able to have like standardized operating procedures, right? So it's like being able to set up different cells doing the same thing, so that way you could take one person out, put another person in, and it'll work the same way. So you even have like time cycles for, it's like, this is how long it should do, you know, it should take you to do this thing. And then we've even implemented, it's going to, you know, I added an additional 5 seconds for the human factor every single cycle. So it's like, anytime that you're doing something, it's like you always got to involve the human, because most of the time that's where your variability is going to end up coming from.
Down to a science.
Yeah. Weird. That's like the Walmart McDonald's process.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know? Interesting.
Yeah, so that whole thing ended up starting with Toyota. And they're the ones that really ended up doing lean manufacturing. And another thing that came from that was I don't know if it actually came from it. Well, they improved on the Ford process. Okay. So what they ended up doing was with the Ford production line, they were going in a straight line. Toyota ended up converting it to a U, so that one person could go here to here to here and being within that same cell. So they've ended up like eliminating most of their walking distance. So what ends up also happening with that too, like I'm not too sure if the TPS Toyota production system ended up coming with Six Sigma. But another thing with that was Six Sigma is having 1 defect per million. So being able to produce 1 million things with only having 1 defect.
Yeah, and that's that process.
That's insane.
That's that process, dude. That's crazy.
Yeah. So it's hard to get there. It's a lot of fucking
Tesla
work.
came out with the Model 3 that they wanted to like mass produce. Like they had issues. They had gap in between the panels. They had all kinds of little things here and there.
Yeah, they still do, man.
No, the new one that's supposed to come out, like the new update on it. No gaps. Wow. I think they improved on it.
Finally.
Yeah. It took them a moment.
So it's a new company. I was thinking right now when you guys were talking, what are some of the things that we've done to like almost different business ideas that we as 3, like as a group, have tried? Because we've tried a bunch of things together.
Tried a few things.
Like, what are some of? Because now I'm thinking, like, man, we've actually tried a lot of things, even from flipping lawnmowers. Like, we bought what was it? So it was a sitting lawnmower.
One of those
they use like on a farm.
It's an industrial size like lawnmower. Yeah, you sit on, you're able to do like full acre lots.
And we were like, let's buy it and flip it, and then we're gonna. That's just a thing. Like the market is there.
Yeah,
man, we took an L. We held on to that thing for 8 months. Eventually, it just didn't run.
Yeah,
it sat outside,
and it was the size of a Mini Cooper. It just
it was not a good idea.
And here we were thinking, and it's like it didn't discourage us from like, man, you know, like this is never gonna work. But we're just like, hey, cool, let's do stocks.
I drove that thing home.
Right. But what's like. You know, what I always tell people with that too is like, dude, I have tried so many different things, right? And I think that if I ended up following through with any of them would have been like really successful, because I've never lost money on any of them, right?
Yeah.
So even with like the lawnmower, I either make a little bit of a profit, or I always find a way to break even.
Yeah.
But with anything that I've done, I've never been like, damn, that was a complete waste of time, or I lost a ton of money doing it.
Yeah.
Like, it's never
but
been
now
like
we
that.
know, let's not buy and sell sitting lawnmowers.
Right.
From the auction.
But what are some of the other things we've tried?
The auction, just that.
The auctions. We used to go to the auction every Saturday, buy a bunch of things. I spent like $3,000 the last time we went.
Dude. Yeah.
And I just like...
Do you still have anything?
Dude, the top of my garage is filled with stuff.
Still?
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
Dude, I still have a handful of things, too.
See,
I'm like...
I have a problem selling things. So when I buy things from people, I'm like, you know what? That was a good deal. It's
half
really
the things
not,
that I got from the auction that I was gonna sell, I ended up keeping.
Yeah.
Because it was a good deal, and I was like, this was to make money, I don't need this new vacuum.
It's a good deal. Yeah, exactly. So I just don't, because I know.
But
if
I did
buy
make some good flips off of that for sure. Mm-hmm. But doing that for a while kind of made me realize, like,
how much do you think you
I
spent?
did not want to do that.
Well, I actually had like an Excel sheet set up. So what I would end up doing is any of the products that I would buy, I would post them, or I would note it on there, and then put the price I actually bought it for what their retail was, and then what I would ideally like to sell it for, and then the actual sold price. So then I would update it, and I ended up spending like $6,000, and I ended up making about 10 grand on all the things.
That's not bad, but so I also like. Do you think it was worth the time for $4,000? For me, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Now I would say that if I was doing other things, yes, and like that kind of goes back to that conversation where it's like a lot of people say, "Well, was it worth your time?" Well, what would I have been doing? Probably sitting at home, probably playing Call of Duty, fucking browsing through my phone. So it's like, for, let's say like even, I would say pay yourself what your employer would pay you. And was that worth it? Yeah, for me it was.
Absolutely.
Okay. And like more than it was probably worth the knowledge and what I've learned off of it.
That's very true.
Dude, my thing with the buying and selling from the auction was like, oh yeah, so I flipped this and I made this much. And then when I started slowing down on selling things, I realized like sure, it's not a complete waste of time, how you're saying like it's worth it because you did make money, but my efforts could have been better spent building on this other thing instead of that. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't necessarily the money, but it was like my time was more valuable doing something else rather than the posting, the pictures, the meeting up with the people.
I think it's such a waste of time on Facebook, selling anything on Facebook for a decent price or lower than what it's worth. Like you get, I want to say like even selling the car, I've gotten hundreds of messages. Is this available? No.
Yeah.
Is this available? Yes.
But then if that's your thing, like you just buy and sell on Facebook, like I could see how that is just like
half of it's on Facebook saying
if
yes
you don't mind that, and
replies.
If you're okay with doing that and dealing with the people, and you know how to weed out like the fakes, the goods, the bads and stuff. I mean, you could make so much money on there. Resell, like if you are wanting to resell stuff, Facebook is the way to go. Like Craigslist is dead. Let Go, OfferUp, they merged, and it's still just people. Seems like it's just a bunch of like crackheads on there because you don't have to have a profile attached.
Right. I do like the shipping method, so it's smart because you could just buy it. You don't have to ask about if it's available. Like ask the question. You could just, you don't trust it.
I don't either. I've never bought anything.
I'll only buy stuff on eBay as far as ship like that.
Like, because it's not. Is it through PayPal? I haven't done it either.
I don't know, but I wouldn't buy it. I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, because I know PayPal has a good program. Like if you sell something, like
they'll follow through with it and get your money.
And that's why eBay is good because it's you don't really get scammed anymore. Unless you're the seller, you got scammed a bunch of times.
I've done it a few times. Like I sell a phone to someone, and they're like, "Yeah, you shipped me rocks." I'm like, "I did not."
I remember that.
And then they like, "You did. Here's like the tracking number, and here's a picture of a box full of rocks you found in your garden." And there goes $400 of mine.
Yeah, and they give all the money back.
Yeah, they give all the money back.
At first they said, "Hey, you shipped me an empty box," blah blah blah, and then when you replied, they're like, "Yeah, you sent us this box with a bunch of rocks in it."
Yeah, great.
Like, whoa, awesome. Which one is it?
Yeah, so. Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah.
I hate it. Like, I sold a watch, and then it was like $2,500, and they're all like, it's fake. And I'm like, it's not fake. Like, no way is it fake. And then I fought them on it and it took like a few months. And then they were like, okay, it's not fake. We got mixed up with a different one. And then I got the money. And I'm like, what? So I got the money, and then they retracted the money. And then I had to wait a few months. And I got the money again. And and it's like, why are you going to sell something expensive like that?
Yeah, weird.
No, never.
Yeah. And like, you know, what you're saying too with that, it's like, it's definitely a hassle dealing with people on Facebook. At least for me, it's a hassle, right?
Yeah.
But I think with like any business that you do, you definitely get like, not necessarily like, there's definitely parts of it that definitely suck, regardless of what it is.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's definitely the people.
On Facebook?
People are difficult. Yes. Well, yeah, no. On Facebook, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, with, you know, in general, like, with any business, with anything that you do, you're always going to have some part of it being shitty that you don't want to do. Mm-hmm. Whether it's like taxes, financing, or
whatever it is.
Or the people.
Yeah. They definitely don't make it easy, like, to start a business even, you know?
Yeah. They definitely
and don't. I thought it was like, I always thought it was like, you get a business permit or a business license, and then you just have at it, you know? But no, there's a lot of forms.
And there's like, especially like if you're trying to do like, you know, like an SBA loan where like a small business, you know, and you try to get a loan through a bank or even like an angel investor. Dude, the processes are so freaking difficult to get in.
Yeah, it's crazy. I feel like that's just so discouraging for people that want to start a business, and I don't think people even realize like it's expensive and there's a lot that goes into it. You don't just fill out a form and you're good to go. Like if you want to be like an LLC, like there's a lot of forms. There's a lot of stuff, and even then it's like now we have to worry about, you got to pay your dues every year to the local, the state, the federal, like all sorts of stuff. Like there's a lot more to it than I didn't even think about it. And I've been looking into it for a long time, even just from podcasts and Facebook groups and stuff. Like they don't make it easy.
No, and it's crazy.
Why are they discouraging people from starting their own business?
A house loan, like you have a bundle of papers this big, you have to fill out and fill out.
And they could just shut you down. Like you know, if you don't do your taxes, if you know, there's something, your permits, you're working in the wrong county or the wrong.
What happens if you have a lease?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, all that stuff.
Even with the printing thing, if you depending on where your location is, you have to have, I think it's OSHA, they have to come out and then tell you if your printer inks, if you're zoned to be able to use those inks.
I have no idea. That's insane.
Yeah, like, oh, your printer is this types of inks, like there's too many of those in this area, or you're not zoned to be able to use those inks. And I understand chemicals or whatever, but I mean, even down to that, like you're going to tell me I got the location right here and I'm all set up, cool. And then they're like, oh, hey, you didn't get checked out yet. Cool, come check us out. And they're like, hey, you can't do that here.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, you're not zoned for it.
I mean, down to that.
Right.
That's crazy.
It is. Have you learned a lot from where you're at now with just being able to get the Club Customs going? Like, there's a lot of things that you're like, damn, dude, if I would have known that, it would have been, you know, a lot easier.
And that's with everything almost, you know, like, especially with, like, starting it, like, as an LLC and then doing this and the permits and stuff. I had no idea. I didn't think it was going to be that expensive. And then two, I didn't think there was that much paperwork. And then now it's like, before it was all, how am I going to make money? How am I going to improve the business? And then now it's like, what am I going to do to not go to jail and be like persecuted for tax fraud or whatever? Like, there's so much that goes into it. Like, even write-offs, like I knew it's like, oh, hold on to your receipts and you won't pay taxes or whatever. Use it as a tax write-off. You won't pay taxes on that. And there's a lot more to it than that. You know, there's a lot. There's your tax write-offs and then like your gross, your net, and what you're gonna pay taxes on.
You have to keep track of all.
Yeah, and if you don't do it right, you're gonna be like a failing business. Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it, and I had no idea. And I kind of knew a little bit of it just from being close with Houston and all the paperwork and stuff, but yeah, there's a lot that goes into it, and it's discouraging to want to make your own thing happen because there's so much that goes into it. But I guess like everything, after a while, it will probably become the norm, and then we'll just know how to do everything, and it'll be part of the process, I guess. But
Yeah.
I think that is one thing that is they should make it easier. They should have a program that it's like, hey,
do this,
small
and
business
checklist.
department in downtown Reno or whatever, come here,
Right.
we'll set you up, you'll be good to go and do better for
Dude.
society and this
The
and
economy
that.
would
Give us our
be so
taxes.
booming.
And no, that's crazy. It's more like, oh, let's give tax breaks to Tesla and Walmart.
Right.
And if you're a small business and you don't pay us this year, you're going to jail. You know, like they should, like, dude,
Dude, that's what it is.
That
I'm
doesn't
sure
make sense.
there's probably cities around the U.S. that's like
Yeah.
a little bit more like welcoming to small businesses and stuff. But it seems like they just want you to fail. Everything's against you.
Yeah, I feel like the smaller the city, it could be worse as well.
Yep.
Because like, where was Chris's birthday? It was on like, it was like Urington. It was like past that.
Oh,
Well,
I
anyway,
didn't know.
a friend, she has a salon down there, and when COVID hit, they were like, well, they were monitoring her and like making sure people weren't like going in without a mask, and like someone's like said, hey, I couldn't breathe, can I like take it out so like I get like massage, and then she got like, they told
She got
on
fined.
her, yeah. And then they wanted to set up cameras inside to watch her. And I guess that's happening at like a few other businesses.
Yeah, and are they doing that at Walmart?
No.
Are they doing that at Target?
Yeah.
Nope.
And this is a
Yeah,
one.
see, you're persecuting
business.
these small businesses that have 2 or 3 people come in as it is a day,
Yeah.
where you could really just focus on building them up instead of bringing them down, and go do that at Walmart.
Yeah, exactly. Like, how do we help these other businesses get, like, you know, all the PPE, all the proper PPE, you know? And it sucks because that whole situation was like a complete setup, you know? It was, yeah, I can't breathe. Can I take my mask
Yeah, they
off?
like sent somebody in to
Yeah.
set her up. I remember you guys telling me about that.
Yeah, that's freaking ridiculous.
Like, you guys are putting your efforts into bringing these small businesses down
When you should be
instead
going
of
over after
Walmart
the big guys.
that you gave like a $10 million loan or something like that
ridiculous.
to help them like stay open during COVID or something like that. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And it's totally against us. And everybody's like, well, why don't you do something about it or something like that? Like, what have you done to change it? Nothing. And it shouldn't be up to me to change it.
No.
Yeah.
Like, why does it have to be up to us to complain and do change, you know, when, like,
Exactly.
that's weird. Like, why
Yeah,
are
it's
why
a
are we
known
being blamed
problem.
for that?
Do you
It's a
think
known
COVID
issue.
has slowed down your business and made it any changes?
No, the stimulus check took us up because everybody had money all of a sudden. And
Oh,
then
there you go.
A ton of people were like,
Yeah.
yo, I got money now. Let's do this. Let's do that, which was cool. And I was like, hey, man,
Yeah.
bring
There you go.
stimulus discounts 2020, you know? It's like, whatever.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's funny because, like, there was a comedian who I was talking to, or I was listening to, and he was talking about how during the pandemic and during that whole, a lot of people getting unemployment, a lot of people were making more money on unemployment than they were making on their real job.
Yeah.
You know, 'cause
See,
you would get, like,
it almost made
insane.
me want to go on unemployment.
Right.
Like, these people get a $600 bonus every week.
Yeah, an
like,
additional 600
come
to what
on.
they were gonna
Yeah.
make, dude. Fuck.
That's insane.
That's
yeah.
good.
And then we're going to complain about our debt.
Right.
Okay.
And they were talking about, dude, it was funny because there was another guy too talking about how, like, the Don Julios were fucking just disappearing, man, at freaking Total Wine, right? But it's because everybody was balling out buying Don Julio.
Hell yeah.
Stimulus checks died, and then all of a sudden restocking started happening again. It's like, yeah, no one has Don Julio money anymore. The 1942,
Yeah, what happened?
right?
Balling big bottle.
Hell yeah,
That's so
man.
funny.
So where do you see 2021 going for you, dude? Like,
Dude, we're coming up, man. Like,
Yeah.
it's like every year ever just gets better and better and better.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just going to go up. Like,
Tell us a
every
little
year it
bit-
just gets better.
Tell us a little bit about what you're working on right now.
So right now we have my 91 R32 GTR.
ooh.
Yeah.
And we're just going crazy on it. So we bought, I don't know when you're gonna post this, but we bought this candy red wrap, and we're almost done with it. We have a side skirt and tail light covers left, and then we have a carbon hood, carbon fenders made custom from somebody in Japan, probably some old Japanese guy.
No way.
Yep.
so
And then
cool.
we have a carbon trunk on the way that Alex bought me for my birthday, which is
What?
awesome.
That's sick.
Yeah, we
it's
got
gonna be full carbon.
even the GTR spoiler. We
Yeah.
got that in carbon, a gurney flap that goes on top of the spoiler, and then a lip on the bottom that's gonna be carbon too, and it's gonna be insane. It's gonna be crazy. Insane. And then we bought some wheels, some like dream wheels for me that I would have thought, some TE37s, just crazy good. They are so nice, and the car's gonna be crazy. And then once we get it finally done and put together, we're gonna just do upgraded turbos, maybe big single, but I don't know.
Nice.
Yeah, we're not there yet, but that's definitely next. The car is crazy.
Yeah, but that's a rare car on its own, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Whoa, man. Where did you end up getting that? How was that, dude?
I got that from a guy in Vegas.
Oh,
it's like Henderson or something like that.
Really?
Yeah, and I got lucky with it because usually they're not for sale everywhere, you know, especially GTR, the GTSTs and stuff, like the lower models.
Right.
Those you could get them everywhere.
Okay.
But this guy had it imported when he was in the Army, had it imported, brought over here, and then he said, I need to buy this house, like something with his landlord or whatever. So he's like, I have to get rid of my car. And so I got lucky and was able to take it off his hands. And that was even cool on its own.
Cool.
We talked to him. I think I hit him up at like 6 p.m. on, I think it was like Thursday or Friday. And then by 8 o'clock, I was like, yeah, send me your address. Like, I'm coming to get it. Like, there's no doubt.
That's so cool.
And then we worked on the truck, got it ready, changed the oil, stuff like that. And then we were on our way by like 6 a.m.
Damn.
Yeah. And then I drove 10 hours straight there. It took us a little longer because of the trailer. We were just trying to like go at a decent speed. And I think I drove back like another, it was like 8 hours. And then I just couldn't do it anymore because I was just falling asleep with a car full of the dudes. So I was like, yo, somebody take over.
Damn.
But that was cool.
Dude. That was
that's super cool.
That's a tight story.
Yeah, that car's gonna be crazy.
Damn, man, that's crazy. I couldn't believe when I had first seen it, man. I was like, dude, he really got a fucking GTR.
And it's crazy. Those kinds of things, like, I never thought I'd even see one in person.
Yeah.
Right.
And people probably don't even know or care, like, that are listening, like, that. They're like, I don't know what that is. But,
but it's a cool car. It's tight.
Well, so it's a 1991. It's a Nissan Skyline. They were not legal in the U.S. You had to wait until a few years ago to where it was like, what is it, the 25-year law?
Yes.
And then now to get them here, you have to go through this whole process to import it in. And everything's in Japanese, like all the tags, everything's in Japanese. Whoa. It's in kilometers.
It's right-hand drive.
Manual. It's just a cool car. It's legendary. And it's a 91. And right now, so when I got mine, they were 26 was like the average, and that's what I got it for. And then now they're up to 40.
And
it's only been 6 months.
That is so cool.
Whoa.
Yeah, hold on to it. Get this thing. Yeah, keep it going.
Unless somebody wants to cash me out for like 40 something. But dude, they went up crazy. When I was looking at them, they were 25, 26. There was a couple crazy people trying to sell them for 30, but it wasn't like happening. And then now it was like 35, and then now I'm seeing 40.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I didn't realize that whole thing where they have the GTS models. Because when you had first told me about it, I was like, "What, dude? You could get them for like 14,000-15,000."
Yeah.
But you're like, "No, that's the GTS," and I was like, "Oh, okay, that makes sense."
And the GTSs are still about the same. I've seen them as low as like 12 for a good, decent running one, and then now they've gone to, I think probably still like 16 max, 18, but you still don't want to pay that. That's super high. But the GTSs and GTSTs, they've kind of stayed, but the GTRs just blew up. Everybody kept saying, hold on to it, it's going to go up. And I was like, nah, whatever. And then it's just like they're just going up, which is crazy. The value of like a super old car from Japan.
Right.
And most people don't even know, and then you'll drive it, and people are just like, "Oh my god, it's a GTR!"
Yeah, it's gonna be like that first edition Charizard, man.
Yeah, did you get one yet?
Yeah, I got
like
4 of them, right?
Yeah,
wow.
Dude, I actually thought, dude, from afar when I had first seen it, dude, I thought it was like a '95 Impala that you got got.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes I still think, I'm like, whose Integra is this? And I'm like, oh no, that's my GTR.
Yeah, that's so funny.
The old Nissan.
Hell yeah, man. Cool. That's cool, man. That'll definitely be like the official Club Customs car,
yeah,
dude.
It's
like,
gonna be crazy.
It's gonna get the royal treatment, dude.
Yeah,
I'm excited about that, dude.
Man, it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, are you guys still doing the vlogs?
You guys
still working on that?
We are. We had our editor Ethan, and he just kind of fell off. Ethan. And so I just have a bunch of videos, and I've just been kind of like collecting them, putting them, separating them from like the different car wraps we do and stuff. And then when I get a chance, one day I will edit them, and they're gonna be cool. Dude, I'm definitely gonna do the GTR one though. Like I'm definitely gonna do that one like next week and post that. But editing is hard, man. That's another hustle that like that. The end goal would be just have like a successful, cool YouTube channel, and then a business surrounding that.
It's crazy.
Dude, one of the things too, like when I was like really into photography and I was trying to do the, you know, just videography as well.
That was another one of your things too.
Yeah, dude. Well, see, here's the thing, dude. I really like taking pictures and videos. I hate editing, bro, and it made it fucking hard because like. Not only did I have like a bad laptop, or, you know, a decent laptop that wasn't really good at editing and it would take forever to render, but it was like the time that goes into it. A lot of people don't realize like it's a lot of work to edit.
I did this 2-minute video edit for Andrew's car after we wrapped that one, and it took me over 8 hours to get 2 minutes of video.
That's insane.
And that's nonstop. And that was, I probably had like 80 clips, and I turned into a 2-minute video.
Oh shit!
And it was cool. It turned out really good. I was proud of myself. But wow, dude, like it is a long process. And I'm sure the more you do it, like everything, you're gonna get good at it. But wow, editing is hard.
It is.
It really is. Yeah. It's a really time consuming. And that was one thing I didn't even think about it. I was just like, oh yeah, we're gonna do this YouTube channel, and then I'm just gonna put these videos together on iMovie real quick, and then you realize like. Can't do that on iMovie. You need Final Cut, and then to run Final Cut, you need a good MacBook, and then to have a good MacBook, you need to.
It's a process, and equipment makes it a lot. Like we were struggling with SD cards earlier, and like trying to like get them to work, and we end up buying like $200 worth of SD cards to make them. And it's equipment. You just kind of have to have it. It makes the process a lot easier than having to go around things and like jump over hoops. It's a pain in the ass, but it's what it is.
So even with like being able to start this, like if we, dude, it started off like one thing, then another, then another, then another, but all within like the span of like 2 weeks, dude. We went from us doing only audio podcasts to doing the videos to cameras, and now we have like a full fucking production set going on, dude. So it's been interesting, man. You know, it's just like you really don't think about it until you really get going. But that's where like you also think about, and you hear a lot of people always talking about like, well, I'm going to wait for the perfect time, or I'm going to wait until I get all these things, where it's like, no, I mean, you can.
It's like, hey, we could have just set up the MacBook and just used the camera.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
And people always say that too, like not to cut you off. It's just like, oh, all you need is an iPhone and you could start blah blah blah. It's like but
you could.
Yeah, cool, okay, but it's like, hey, like you guys, it's like all you needed was a phone, and then you could have just recorded a video and then posted it.
Well, you gotta use what you have. If they don't have anything else, and like,
but it's like, I'm gonna set it apart. It's like, man, I'm not gonna just start with this little thing. It's like, nah, I'm gonna go all in.
Yeah, and like we're lucky enough to be doing pretty good. But, you know, that's where it was like for us, it was like, okay, well, we just got a microphone, and it was like, let's try. And it was like, okay, this is cool, but let's get another one. And then I was like, this is cool. And then we actually ended up like our very first recordings were on phones. We had his gimbal from his DJI gimbal and his phone. And we're like, dude, okay, this is cool. And it's like actually started on that table. And then it was like, okay, dude, I have a camera. Let me bring over the camera. Boom. And then we kind of set it up, and it was like, now we should actually set up 2 other angles. Boom. I was like, oh shit, you know, the editing, boom, you know, and then it was like knowing one thing, then another. Then it was like it really, we put a lot of time into it over the last 2 weeks just to make it into what it was. But I feel like if we kept on, like, it was a lot of trial and errors, like a lot of small trial and errors. But if it was like we're waiting for that perfect moment,
it would never happen. You just have to do it, and you have to use what you have.
Because even like with the cameras,
out the bear.
Yeah, it was always like, fuck, man, it'd be nice if we had these cameras, but we only have this to work with.
So it would be like, great if we had Red, like 8K camera. You know, but I'm not trying to spend. Yeah, exactly. So you gotta use what you got.
But I think we always go like all in when we're going on something, you know.
Yeah.
Some Nipsey Hussle shit. It's just like, I'm all in, man. All money in, no money out, dude. Like, dude. It's like, let's do the podcast. Like, bam, now we have 3 cameras, 3 mics, 3 MacBooks, and it's like, okay, now we're well over $10,000 in equipment. And it's like same thing like your car. Like, I'm gonna build this Audi, and it's next thing you know, you spent fucking $8,000 on a tranny.
Don't remind me.
Yeah, and Juan too. You're always like, oh, I'm gonna do this, and it's like, bam. Next thing you know, it just spiraled, and then us were like, hey, let's wrap the GTR red. And I was like, damn, you know what would look good? A carbon hood. You can't have a carbon hood and not carbon fenders. Let's get some carbon fenders made. But if we have this carbon fiber spoiler, we need the carbon this, that, and then that. And then like, dude, how are we going to have a cool car and not have like upgraded turbos? And then there you go. It's a cycle. It's a cycle, dude.
It's such a bad
Fortunately,
cycle.
we just suck with that.
Right?
It does, yeah.
Well, dude, like, even when I ended up getting, like, the Beamer, it was like, dude, this is a nice car, dude. I don't want to do anything to it. And then it was like, you know what? I'll just get a stage 1 tune for it. And I was like, okay, this is quick, but it's not that quick. Let me get another upgrade. Let me get another upgrade. Let me get another upgrade.
It's cool, but it doesn't shoot flames. All right, let's do this.
Now
and
it shoots flames.
Yeah, see?
And now it's like, okay, all these things are cool, but it needs to be a little faster. I did all the other upgrades.
Yeah, we
Big
can't
turbo.
just be good.
Yeah, see?
We can't just be good with what...
Man.
That's just one of the... why would you want to if you...
Dude, and that's like the thing about it is like, you know, you have one life, dude. Like, you know, who knows? Like, reincarnation, all that stuff may end up happening.
Do you want the base model or do you want the, you know?
Yeah, and I really don't know what happens on the other side, man. So it's like, as far as we're concerned, dude, we just got to live up the moment, you know? And you just kind of got to go
but you can't live the moment
in.
if you're broke.
Well, no.
Unfortunately.
But see, here's the thing, dude. A lot of people try to live that, dude. Yeah. And they fucking try to fucking buy rosé at the club, man, on their 9 to 5, dude. And it's like...
Yeah.
It's cool. Like, you could ball out for that second, dude.
Hey, man, I know Elon Musk ain't at the club dropping $100,000 on bottles.
Oh, no, he doesn't.
Hell no,
he doesn't.
dude.
Yeah, he probably doesn't even drink. Who knows? No, he drinks his own tequila. He's smart. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he made that tequila, and we didn't jump on. Did you hear about that tequila?
No, what is
he made tequila.
Oh, yes. Yeah, from the Boring Company, right?
Yeah.
Sold out within
Sold out
an hour.
quick.
Yeah. I knew about 3 hours later. No.
Dude, he was so mad.
When I was on Joe Rogan's podcast yesterday, we were talking about... just kidding. That's my good buddy.
I actually just heard, too, that Drake dropped his new candle line. Well, I don't know if it was like candle line, but he dropped some candles, and they sold out within a few hours. It was like 2 or 3 days ago.
It's smart.
It's like the Yeezys. It's just all hype.
Yeah, he knows Drake or anything else but music, but all I know, he could be a candle connoisseur.
Yeah, dude, honestly.
Yeah. I'm curious now.
Some corny shit.
Yeah, the tiki wood, freaking mahogany. Bro, what's up, dude?
This is the working on the weekend like usual candle. Dude,
that's so funny.
That's all good,
shit, man. The smell of his tears. That dude. I actually like Drake, man. He's become like that one thing, dude, where he's okay with being laughed at, and he's been like that meme, dude, all the fucking time. But you know, he's made himself vulnerable, but it's worked.
Yeah, but man,
that's how Kevin Hart is as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude,
it's crazy.
I think fucking Drake is like the best artist of all time, dude. He's dropped the most amount of hits. Dude.
Yesterday, the guys were talking about Drake is only famous because he's catchy. It's like, okay, you know, you could give him that, but at the end of the day, whatever he's done, it worked.
It's worked.
You know, and it's spoken volume. So, I guess, I don't know. It's weird. Like, sometimes even bad, like, publicity is
when he's
good
doing
publicity,
his little funny dance on the floor.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's catchy, yeah.
Yeah, it all is, dude. Like, even, like, a lot of people were trying to knock, like, the Tootsie Slide thing where it was, like, it was a TikTok song. Like, yeah, I'm sure he knew going into it was going to be a fucking TikTok song. Like,
but how much money did he make off of it?
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly, dude. So,
and maybe when we think, like, oh, it's so dumb, all he's thinking is, like, this is it. This is how I'm making my next milli.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude. And I think, you know, a lot of people got to think along the lines of that, where it's like maybe slightly cheesy and maybe a little corny and maybe out of my comfort zone, but it's worth a shot, you know. And let's see. Yeah, you may not make the next Drake million, but you'll make a few $100s off of it.
And then so the people on the podcast know, because I heard somebody ask this guy this earlier this morning. He said, and then so people might not know about Juan, but how did you feel when you made your first million, Juan?
Oh, man. I still felt broke, dude.
Yeah, and that's how you got there.
Hell yeah. Hey, you know, I still feel like, hey, you know, you got to continue making them, and day after day. Like,
ramen into a soup.
Yeah, dude, because, like, honestly, like, you think about it, dude, And it's like
ramen noodle soup isn't that bad. Yeah, I enjoy
it's super
oatmeal.
high in sodium, bro.
Yeah.
But
I mean, yeah,
it's
oatmeal.
not good for your health, bro. But like $1 million isn't really a lot of money, but it can be a whole lot of money. Like you're living within your means.
It's a tool.
It is.
And when do you stop? Like
how much is enough?
Yeah, when do you stop? Not that. I mean, I'm not even close. Of course, close. I don't think.
No, and that's where that whole thing is. Like, yeah, you could always chase the money, but you'll always be chasing the money.
Yeah.
Like it's even like that whole Elon Musk and freaking Jeff Bezos thing. Even at billions, dude, like you're still holding on to it, and it's not like at some point you're gonna be like, I've hit 100 billion. Here's a few billion everywhere else. Like that doesn't happen. Like it's all tools, like. And actually, one time I was talking to a homeless guy, and he was talking about that, and he considers himself the Burning Man the Santa Claus of Burning Man, because he looks like fucking Santa Claus, and he's always out there, I guess. But he's like, he was like, one thing that I would tell you, like as a word of advice, is only look at money as a tool. Yeah. And I was like, dude, that's so fucking genius. Like I never really thought about that, like, because if you chase it, you're always gonna be chasing it. It's never gonna be enough. Yeah. So it's interesting.
And where was this guy? Where'd you find him? Was that the guy you got that big TV from?
No, that was another homeless guy, dude. He was an entrepreneur for sure, bro.
You should tell that story of how you got this massive TV.
It's at what, 90 inch, 100 inch?
It's an 80-inch TV. It's an 80-inch TV. Huge. So I ended up going to a tire shop. It was on a Sunday, dude, and every other place in town was closed. So this place happened to be open. And he's like, dude, you have like 15 minutes to get here, and I'll be able to get you in. I'm like, totally cool. So it's like 1:00 on a Sunday, and I'm just waiting outside for the tire, and this homeless guy comes up, and he's like, hey, do you want to buy any of these things? And I'm like, let me take a look at it. So he freaking like pulled out like protein powders, socks, vitamins, and all kinds of stuff. And I was like, thanks, dude, but like I'll give you some money if you just like talk to me about your life, and like, just any type of like learning lesson that I could get from it, like would be cool for me. And he's like, nah, I'll be back. Do you want to buy a TV? And I'm like, not really. He's like, dude, you'll like this TV. Like, trust me, don't go anywhere. And I'm like, all right. So like 15 minutes passes by, 20 minutes go by, and I'm like, dude, this guy ain't fucking coming back. So all of a sudden, like I see somebody walking across the street with a shopping cart with a huge fucking TV, dude. Huge, massive. Yep. And I'm like, what the hell? Where'd you get this from? He's like, don't worry about that. I'm like, do you have anything else? He's like, I have a ton of TVs. I was like, what? So he's like, yeah, he wanted like $200 for it. And I'm like, dude, I can't even plug it in. Like, you don't even have a cord in there. Yeah, like, how am I supposed to know it works? And he's like, $100. I'm like, no. He's like, okay, $80 is the lowest I'll go. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I ended up buying this TV without knowing if it was really going to work or not, right? Yeah. I get home, I plug it in, and it worked. So it was like, it's funny, dude, because like I paid $1 an inch, like for each inch that I got. So wait, do you have what do you charge, $5?
We're at $3
plus tax.
Sundays it's a little cheaper. Hey, how about you should tell a story about that time we tried to sneak into Tesla as photographers.
Oh, dude, I
don't remember what the girl said.
No, what did she say?
Remember, I'll give you one line you'll remember. And what about him? or something like that. And what about, or like, and what's
way
up with
too
him?
much of an inside story,
dude. No, so it was funny because that day we're in your rental, right? Yeah, and we had gone shooting, and we're out like just west of like Pyramid Lake, and then we ended up going to the lake for a little bit, and we wrapped around through like Painted Rocks in like eastern like east of Reno. So at the time they were like phase 1 of building like the Tesla factory, the Gigafactory. So we're like, oh, let's go check it out. Everyone's talking about how huge it is and stuff. So we get out there, and there's a gate with the security checkpoint, like way before you even get out there. So
we didn't even know it was there.
No. So we're in line. We're like, all right, we'll just tell them we're working for National Geographic. We'll tell them we're just working for National Geographic, and we're here to photograph the building and get aerial shots of it. And we get to the gate, and the lady's like, what are you guys here for? We're like, oh, we're here with National Geographic. We're here to do some shooting of the building.
She was like,
and the lady's like, okay.
What about your
Points
friend?
at Alex. What about your friend?
She said, "What about him?" I was like, "What are you talking about? Do I not look like I can hold a fucking camera?"
But dude, it's funny because
Like, out of everybody, she's gonna point at me and say, "What is that thing?" Like, what was I? I was like, "What the fuck? I have some on my face or something?" Like, man,
wasn't it funny, dude? Because like a few days prior to that, like you were going to Houston's house, dude, and some lady got freaked out by you when you were going up the stairs. She was like,
right.
she got spooked.
Yeah,
yeah, that's right. I was going and I was walking up like the stairs, the hallway, and this lady she got scared and she ran the other way. I was like, bro, I know I'm big, but I'm not that big. Like, I'm not a fucking bear. Like, she literally got freaked out. She's like, it just took off running. I was like, alrighty then. She must have forgot her phone. I don't know, but she was freaked out.
Dude, so it was funny, like the fact that like you had multiple occasions that week where people were just spooked out by you.
Yeah,
dude.
like, we got this car full of weirdos. Yeah. Like, I'm cuter than all these guys. Yeah. And she's talking about, what about him? Like,
awful.
What did I... Yeah.
Does he not fit like
2 arms, 2 legs, 2 eyes? Like,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because you're even like, dude, what the fuck? Like,
yeah,
am I that ugly,
like,
bro?
wait, what? Like, what do you mean?
Like, out of all the other people in the car, like, out of all things, it's like, you point at the guy in the back, like, what about him?
All right. Well, this is great times. Always
It's been
good
funny,
times.
dude. It's been great, man.
So tell everyone where they can find you.
Yeah, so our Instagram is at TheClubCustoms, and that's about it. That's where we do everything.
Yeah.
We have a Facebook and stuff. We don't use it.
Okay.
Just Instagram.
Mm-hmm. Instagram, Club Customs, all right.
Yeah, the Club Customs. And my personal is at I'm Low.
Mm-hmm. Mlo, like M.
IMLOW.
Definitely, and we'll make sure we link everything below. But you definitely do all car prints, car wraps, decals,
anything you want. I'll figure it out.
Yeah,
you still do T-shirts and stuff, right? Yeah. So anything that needs to be printed,
whatever has print on it, and just advertisement, big banners for stores that say open or whatever like that.
Yeah, we can print on anything.
And then we sell wheels too, if you want real 3-piece wheels.
Ooh.
Right now we have a bunch of sets. We have a couple sets of Works, some Heritage, some Volks, some Weds.
Nice.
Inkies, SSRs.
Whoa.
Nice. Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah. Anything you guys need, definitely check out his page, Club Customs on Instagram. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, ASMR. Just